stream stats, you're going to notice something. We lost a bunch of members in the last week, okay? Absolutely, this is truthful. What happened? Well, a couple of factors happened. Factor number one is that I did lose out on a day of streaming. And when I'm not here, when I'm planned to be here, you know, some people get upset. Do I really think that's what happened? No. But I'm just saying it did affect things for sure to unscheduled lose out on a whole day. Now, the other factor here is that last month, we had a lot of rallying of support and a bunch of gifted memberships to the channel that have now expired. In general, it was actually around 200 gifted memberships that have all expired in the last week, okay? On top of that, I'm playing a ton of Street Fighter, and that brings in a certain crowd who will come and enjoy and support in various ways. Memberships have not been one of them. You know, we've seen a lot of tips and other things coming in, which is great, but memberships have been kind of stagnant, actually, in the last week. I've barely seen anyone even become a new member or renew a membership. So that's what's happening, okay? Now, perhaps today, with the premiere of Final Fantasy 16, we'll see a flip on that. In fact, I would say once we start with gameplay today, you may actually see an increase in viewership, which would be great to see more people come to the stream than usual. And if you're someone who enjoys my content, and you're excited for the premiere of a big new game today, and you want to support this channel and the content that it puts out, perhaps you would consider gifting some memberships to the community. Today would be a great day with as many people as we'll probably have on stream when I get started with the game. And I'm sure there's going to be people who maybe have lost their memberships in the last couple of days who would be willing to accept a gifted one. Just tossing that out there as an idea. It's always a good idea to support not only, you know, me and myself, but also everyone around us. Hey, gifted memberships are a great way to do that, and I'm sure everyone would enjoy having access to emotes and everything for the premiere of a brand new game. So just throwing that out there before people look at the leaderboard and freak out. No, it's not a giant deal that we went down that many. They were all gifted last month, and I knew they were going to expire. The good news is I don't base special marathon events around any kind of member goals anymore. You know, members are great. They come and go. And sometimes they come in waves. Someone's very generous, we get a bunch. And then a new game comes out and we get a bunch more. And it's all good. But if we don't have them all the time, that's okay too. It's a great way to support the channel. But I still do these fun celebratory events regardless, and I think everyone appreciates that, right? I think the last few months it's definitely worked well. We got one coming up with DSP's DSP. From what I'm seeing as she plays the game, she's kind of hitting a wall. And what I mean by that is, you know, the addictive nature of the game goes so far, and then after a while, you want to partake more in the story and or meaningful side missions, and she's starting to run into problems. For example, yesterday, she's doing this plot line that had to do something to do with cannibals or something like that, and it's several missions, and she does a bunch of them, and she gets to the final one, the game glitches out, it won't complete the quest line. So she had done all this work to complete the quest line, and it just doesn't work. She goes online. Yeah, it's a known bug. This quest line has a lot of issues. People have tried to find workarounds, and they can't really consistently figure out how to get it to conclude. It's a big problem.
It's a brand new game, dude. They're gonna come out with patches.
She says, I'm gonna start some of the story. She gets to this particular boss, and the boss literally takes 90% of her health bar with one hit. Now, she has 6 health potions. Okay? She's a rogue class. She can't really do much about this. Right? She's like, so I'm trying to beat this boss, but if I take one hit, I'm nearly dead. And I'm supposed to kill the boss. You know, the boss. Every boss is a tank in this game. Like, how am I supposed to beat this boss? So it's kind of like, she's frustrated because she likes the game, but now it seems like everything she's trying to, side quest, glitch, not working. Main story boss, can't beat it because it seems like my build isn't good for this and I'm just instantly dying or whatever, right? And she's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? So she played a lot yesterday, and by the end of the day, she was actually frustrated. You know, I don't blame her. From what I saw watching her play, I'm like, yeah, I get it. You know, it seems to me like it's almost like they're forcing you to party up in certain situations.
Bro, yeah, she sucks, dude.
And who wouldn't be frustrated if you played a quest line for hours just to find out the final quest can't be completed because the game is full of bugs? But right? I'm just going to go right through this. So this is Todd Howard's interview.
Destroy Howard.
About
Destroy Howard. Destroy
Point
Todd
number
Howard.
1, there will be no ground vehicles or animal routes whatsoever in the game. The only way to get around is to walk or use the jetpack. Now, the jetpack is cool, and I'm glad to hear that there will be a way to maneuver around besides just walking. But let's be honest here. Why would you not want vehicles? I mean, even going back,
I'll definitely check that out.
As early as Mass Effect 1, they had the Mako, and the Mako sucked, but at least it was an interesting way to get around the planet, right? The fact that they've decided on no vehicles in this game baffles me. How did you not think people would want vehicles in space?
Yeah, how dumb is Todd Howard for that, dude?
That's pretty dumb. What I'm nervous about is that this game's going to be a lot of time killing because you have to walk and or glide around with the jetpack, and it takes forever to traverse things and or explore because you're not in a vehicle.
Wow.
That's stupid. I feel like the best way to explore a planet is to jump in your vehicle, have a scanner, and the scanner will tell you where the important stuff is so you can drive to it. Now I'm walking on foot like an asshole for hours on end on a planet that has 2 important things on it, but I don't know that, so I waste an hour on it, right?
Yeah, what the fuck was Todd Howard thinking, dude?
And it might sadly be a bad design choice.
What a moron.
I could be wrong, but I'm just saying initially this sounds like a bad design choice in my opinion, okay? Number 2.
What the hell?
Constellation crew are your 4 main companions in the game, and they are all romanceable. I don't care about that, but a lot of people do. So there's 4 romanceable companions in the game, and it's your main Constellation crew members.
Okay.
Okay. Number 3,
Phil hates that.
there is no fishing in the game. That's absolutely unacceptable. As you know, I love fishing in video games.
Yo, the Bassmaster has spoken.
Every time that we have a game like this, where we have opportunity to fish, it better well be fishing. You better stick a line on a rod, cast away, and start catching some indigenous life. I'm very upset with Todd Howard that he thinks he can make a game like this in 2023 with no fishing. In fact, I'm going to have to write him a formal complaint letter and send it to his home about 400,000 times to see if he reads it. Probably not. But I'm pretty upset because, you know, I would have loved doing some nice chill fishing with all of you, and now it doesn't exist in Starfield, and that's a huge oversight in my opinion, a huge lost opportunity.
Yeah, missed opportunity for sure.
Number 4.
Good job, Todd Howard.
And this is one, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to go back to the Starfield recap reactions that I did. All right? And I'd like you to hear what my opinion was, because what I said directly was when they said, oh, there's 1,000 planets in the game, right? What did I say? I said, oh, they claim there's 1,000 planets, but that's a cop-out, because I guarantee you, here's what they're going to say. Anything you can land on is a planet. And there's going to be asteroids, there's going to be moons, there's going to be barren shit in this game that you can land on that they're claiming is a planet, and it's not. And I said, really, the question here will be how much will be meaningful content. And what did I say? I said, I guarantee you probably about 1/10. So if there's 1,000, there'll probably be 100 actual planets you can land on and have content. And what did I say? I said, out of that, how much you want to bet? Like 10 of them will be really, you know, well-developed planets with tons of story and a bunch of different towns and locations. And some of them will be a planet where there's like one major town and that's it. And it's just there to kill some time, and it's not a major thing, right? So, that's what I said. Ladies and gentlemen, I shit you not, this morning, Todd Howard said in an interview, 10% of the planets of Starfield have life on them. Did I hit the goddamn nail on the head, or did I not? I actually got the number completely correct. I said 100 out of 1,000. He says 10% of the planet. I was correct. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know how these people work. I know how they fucking think, right? Oh, 1,000 things you can land on, that's 1,000 planets. No, it's not, asshole. That's 1,000 boring things, 900 things there's no point on landing because there's probably one mineral on the fucking thing, right? And 100, and that's the funny part too, is 100 have life on them. That doesn't mean anything. You could have a planet that's a bunch of, creatures on it, and there's nothing on that planet but the creatures, right? So, yeah. I know how this game's going to work, and I'm telling you right now, this is all smoke blowing up our butts about how many worlds there are to explore and all the time. It's all going to be a time waste. There's definitely going to be people who are going to do it, but it's going to be a waste of everyone's time. It's going to be, you know, meaningful content, will very much be well documented, and you'll know where it is, and you'll be able to go there. If you feel like exploring the other planets, you can, and you'll be wasting a lot of your time doing it, right? So, I couldn't believe how dead on correct I was about that.
I don't know, Phil.
Number 5, there's a radio station local to one location. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I guess someone were asking, will there be radio stations like there were in Fallout? And he says, well, there's one. So maybe there's one radio station in the game. I'm not sure. Number 6, Starfield will be a modder's paradise. Meaning even though all the things that Todd Howard is saying will be correct for launch, they're going to allow modders to mod the game just like they did with games like Fallout 4, and therefore there's going to be public mods available where you can get and modify the game and add new content to it. I'm all for that. Because let's say in a year's time, someone creates a bunch of vehicles and things, and now the game is interesting and more better to traverse and everything. That's cool. But I am concerned about what's going to be there at launch. You know, you shouldn't rely on the mod community to make your game better. You should make your game good at launch, and then if the modder community decide to throw in their effort into this game because they like it so much, well, then good for them. But you shouldn't be relying on the mod community. And I'm almost getting the feeling, the fact that the reason he said that was because that's exactly what they're doing. They're like, oh, well, we're just going to trust that the modders are going to make this game much better. Well, how about what I paid for, right? Okay, continuing on. Number 7, you can customize stolen ships, but they have to be registered first. I don't really know what that means. So I guess you do one of those space battles, you take over a ship, you have to register the ship, and then you can modify it. But I don't, is there a limit to how many ships you can register? I'm going to guess yes, because that's the thing. Do you really think they're going to let you have an unlimited fleet of ships? Of course not. Probably what's going to happen is they're going to say, oh, you can have 5 ships, right? That's probably what they're going to say, 5 ships, that's it.
Well, it seems like you can only fly one at a time,
so I guess we'll see.
It seems like enough, dude.
The outpost and shipbuilding systems are very deep and complex.
Be
They're
okay with 5
later in
ships.
the game.
I don't want to
Well,
manage
that's
a
kind of
fleet.
silly. Why are they later in the game? Right?
I'm not going to manage a fleet of ships by
I don't know.
myself.
That's what he said, though. And
What
then
are you
finally,
talking about?
surveying planets and systems earns you money. So it's not just like you're doing it for the sake of doing it to catalog everything in the game, but it doesn't add anything. In this case, it sounds like it's actually going to add, like you're going to make money doing it. You see, you'll actually get something out of it, which I guess is a good thing, right? So I guess we'll see as we get closer to the game, if there's more and more information. But some of that stuff sounded good, some doesn't sound so good. I think what's going to happen is we had the smoke blown up our butts during that Starfield presentation, you know, a week or 2 ago. And now what's going to happen is reality is going to smack us in the face a little more and a little more the closer we get to the reality of the release of this game. And
his voice is piercing my eardrum.
Everything he said was not truthful, which is sad. But you know, they always overpromise and underdeliver on this shit. I don't know why they do that.
You know, when you get really
1,000
stoned,
planets. Oh, by the way,
your
only
ears
10%
get
of
really-
planets have anything on them.
your hearing gets really sensitive.
Well, thanks for being honest now. After you already said there's 1,000 planets when there aren't, you're a liar, right? Anyway, that's the news. Hey, you want to know why no one talked about it? Because fucking Mario Kart 8's like a decade old, and it's enough is enough. And I understand if you're a fan of Mario Kart and you're kind of eating it up, but I am a fan of Mario Kart. I played Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. I don't want to rebuy it again, and then rebuy it again, and then put more money towards it again. They are really milking the shit out of this game. I want a new Mario Kart. Make me a new Mario Kart. Not the same game that for a decade with DLC maps and characters. It's just it's to the point where it's like, all right, can you put some effort in now? Instead of milking the same thing again, right? So hopefully they do come out with a new Mario Kart, but yeah, I'm not too excited for the fact that they're doing yet another DLC for this stupid thing, right? Okay, go to Q&A, please tag me in the chat. And again,
$11 for the
big premiere
podcast?
Final Fantasy 16.
That's not good, Phil.
A great way to support the channel would be possibly gifting some memberships to the community, because we lost about 200 memberships in the last week because a lot of gifted memberships expired. Yes, if you haven't noticed, I've noticed this. I've been mentioning this a lot. I like to see my community happy. I like to see people, you know, enjoying the streams, and one way that they've definitely enjoyed them is gifted memberships. So if you were thinking of maybe contributing, this would be a great way to do so. Okay? Cool. Bluega says, it's the same game again with different weapons or whatever, every multiplayer shooter ever. Well, fair enough. I mean, this is not a criticism that's exclusive to Splatoon. I mean, look at Call of Duty. That's the biggest joke possible. Every year, it's literally the same exact game. I mean, they made Modern Warfare 2. They're now saying this year's Modern Warfare 3.
Not
what?
exact.
What? No. What? How is? What are you, crazy? And yeah, they're the biggest. I would argue they're the biggest offender in this case. But I mean, yeah, can you, just because you're saying others do it, that doesn't make it right, right? I'm not saying other game franchises aren't guilty of this. Of course they are.
Phil.
But in this case, Splatoon, you don't need to do something special, and they really didn't.
Dude, you're too far gone, dude.
Okay.
And there it is.
Trigger says, are you happy with your React channel's growth pace? What's next for the channel after gaming, reacting, and reviews? See, it's funny. When I launched DSP Reacts in February, I actually think it grew faster than I expected. And now, basically, it's scaled back to the point where it's kind of where I thought it was going to be. I didn't expect to have, like, over 100 members and have, you know, the amount of support that I had on that channel right away. I thought it was going to be slow growth, but instead it like exploded, and then it got back to kind of reasonable expectations and reasonable size. But here's the thing. For a while there, I wasn't really doing that much on the channel.
Hail
but
Mary
now
dollar tip.
we had reacting to game events, right? We have the weekly show. We have some tier maker stuff coming up. There's going to be some stuff coming out at the Digital Summer Party. There's also going to be a long form react coming up in August, or excuse me, in July. This Machinima one I just announced. So it really depends on the content. If there's a lot more content to put on the channel, then it does better. If there's less content to put on the channel, it does worse. I mean, it's pretty cause and effect. When I'm busy with so many games, I don't have a lot of time to do react content, then yeah, the channel kind of falls a little bit behind, and then it kind of catches up again when there's more stuff to do. So it really depends on what's happening in gaming more so, because let's face it, the gaming stuff is always going to kind of be my focus. So we'll see what happens, but I'm pleased with how the channel's doing.
Did he flip-flop?
Yes, I'd be happy
to
see more people become a member and contribute to the submissions of videos for my weekly DSP versus the Internet show. That's
he
the one
flip-flopped back to gaming now?
But outside of that, you know, it's kind of doing around what I expected for
he said he was going to transition out of gaming.
Radical Jaws.
Now he's saying that gaming is always going to be a part of it.
Yes, indeed. I think that Super Mario RPG
I should have known.
Very exciting.
And he realized
producers are expecting out of games has changed. You know, back in the day, you know, games that got a lot of time and effort and money to develop, it would come out, it would be a giant blockbuster, and it would make a good amount of money, and they'd be on to the next game.
Oh, if you don't have games, you don't have content. So we want you to pump out
a game in a short period of time with a smaller budget, but it's got to be a game that has legs and has games as a service, so that it's constantly making us money year after year after year.
Phil's a leech on the gaming community.
Game endlessly for little tweaks here or there, but we still rake in the money. And I hate to say it, it's the GTA Online formula, where GTA Online created the groundwork for this to happen, and how many games as a service games have we seen after GTA Online that are trying to emulate that and fail, right? They just don't catch on. And GTA Online really set that, sadly, the bad precedent that now has led into a decade of games trying to milk, and it's not good, in my opinion. Okay. I got another dollar tip here. Do you think DSP Reacts will do better long-term than KO Gaming did? Well, the thing is, here's the truth. With KO Gaming, that 100% was a channel designed around the old YouTube formula of ad revenue, right? It was. Like, there was no memberships at that time. There was no crowdfunding at that time. It was, hey, if you like KO Gaming, watch the videos. So I was reliant on views and ad revenue on the videos. DSP Reacts is the opposite. DSP Reacts really isn't making any money on the videos because everything's getting claimed regardless. It's about things like memberships and super chats and tips during the streams. So as long as I can maintain that, as long as the streams are doing,
you can't rely on that, dude.
And as long as we get a member base on that channel, the channel will be successful long term. You see what I'm saying? It's the different formulas of content creation and or support. I've changed from that old formula of being so reliant on YouTube and
can
ads
you argue it's a begging model? I guess.
To support what I put out on that channel, then yeah, it will continue to work.
Hey, Phil. Funny to mess around with Phil Burnell, right? Oh, it's real funny to do these horrible things to him because it's just a joke. No, it's not a joke. It's my life.
Not Phil Burnell, Shill Burnell.
Shill Burnell.
The reason we do it is because Phil begs. Wrong. The reason they do it is because they want to see me suffer.
That's right.
Why did detractors say you're a pig roach? You don't look like a pig or a roach. I don't know. I don't know what that means. That's one of their memes. I don't actually know what it means at all. Piggy Smalls tipped me $1, says, own the pig meme like others. Pigs rise up. Oh my god, here we go again. Another stupid meme. Another stupid meme that means nothing.